Have you ever seen a post on Instagram and immediately felt like you had to send it to a friend? If you have, then you're familiar with the power of shareable content. Shareable content is just content that's, you guessed it, shareable. From infographics to memes, it's really anything that resonates with your audience enough to encourage them to tap that share button. I'm Lindsay from Later, and today I'm going to be breaking down how you can create highly shareable content on Instagram. Now let's start with how often you should post shareable content. Shareable content is really great for virality and increasing brand awareness. But as for how often you should be posting shareable content, it's really going to depend on your own goals for your social channels. So to give you some context, let me share how we think about this at Later. Our version of shareable content is usually in the form of a meme or a quote graphic that's super relatable. And posting highly shareable content like this, we typically see a nice boost specifically in engagement and follower count. And this is because the messaging is really for a wider audience. However, when we want to drive traffic with our content, we're typically going to niche down a bit. We're gonna have a more specific, tailored message like this, a news style graphic with a headline from a recent blog post or digital resource. Your content strategy should really tie to your bigger marketing goals, so how often you post shareable content is really gonna depend on how important the metrics of reach and engagement is for your account. So what's a formula for shareable content? In order to make content that's truly shareable, it needs to be one of these 6 things: useful, entertaining, inspirational, timely, thought-provoking, or relatable. Now let's start with how to create content that's useful to your target audience, but that also makes them want to hit that share button. Useful content is likely going to be a bit more educational, but it doesn't have to be overly prescriptive. I like to start by writing down a list of problems that my target audience or ideal follower faces, and then I'm going to solve these problems with my content. Now, the key to making it shareable is to provide tons of free value and honestly keep it very simple. One way we do this at Later is by creating carousels on Instagram with a list of tips. And if we're posting to other platforms, we might even just use a bullet point of valuable tips. Again, focus on solving problems and you're gonna have an endless bank of useful content. Okay, so first let me say that humor does not fit every brand on social media, especially that more unhinged, popular style on TikTok. It's just not always necessary to be entertaining. But it is necessary to have a strong idea of what entertains and interests your audience. So for us as a social media scheduling tool, we like to poke fun at the pain points of social media managers, and we can get away with that because we ourselves are social media managers and our audience knows that we can relate and empathize with them. So when it comes to creating entertaining content, try to focus on the following: poking fun at pain points or even your own brand, experimenting with interesting visual elements or quick edits that capture attention, or even starting your own trends. Overall, when your content goal is to entertain, don't be afraid to get a little loose. Entertainment is really about brand awareness, and it just doesn't have to be that serious. When it comes to inspirational content, here's an example of how you might start a video. Want to learn how I created this? Keep watching. Or you can show a before and after shot, a video of a style product, a delicious looking recipe with gooey cheese melting. You get the picture. With inspirational content, it's usually some kind of really intriguing visual or desirable end result. And inspirational content itself is very shareable. I mean, look at the entire platform of Pinterest, it wouldn't even exist. So when attempting to create inspirational content, ask yourself, what would make my audience say something like, I need to have that, or how do I get that? You'll be on the right track. Timely content is all about trends. It's jumping on pop culture moments, but also understanding that you need to have a spin that makes sense for your brand. And since people are going to be searching and talking about these trends anyway, these are incredible opportunities for your brand to be a part of the conversation. So whether it's a celebrity meme or even just a trending audio, just make sure to keep your content on brand, whether that's using the right tone or your brand color palette. The goal of thought-provoking content is really about connecting with others and showcasing that there's a human behind your brand. The age of perfection is no longer very interesting, so don't be afraid to share some unfiltered moments or some unpopular opinions, within reason, of course. This could be as simple as talking straight to the camera in a casual setting about something and wondering if others feel the same. There are so many examples of business founders and creators going viral for sharing an unfiltered take or even just being honest about their struggles. And in the age of comparison, connecting with another human can feel like a breath of fresh air on social. Now, if you choose one thing to focus your shareable content strategy around, please make it relatability. It's the reason that year after year, memes are still some of the most shared pieces of content on the internet. People really want to relate to brands and creators. Especially today, it differentiates customers from choosing a brand to spend their money with versus not, or hit that follow button versus not. There will always be competition on all sides, but having a brand that gets it or gets the struggle or even just gets what's cool, these are the brands and creators that build cult followings. And if all else fails, you can just post cute dog content. All right, I hope that these tips on creating shareable content helped inspire your own content strategy. But if you have any questions about how to make your own content more shareable, please drop them below and I'll be sure to answer them. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Our team is back here with a new video every week. Until then, see you later.